So, spawning down in the bottom right-hand position, we have got the teal Terran player. It is Jimmeh. And his opponent up in the top right, it's the red Zerg. It's Sabre. Now, Whirlwind is a big map. It is a huge map. But they're in the vertical spawn position, so that just means that they are going to be a little bit close. We could see some aggression, some cool stuff coming down. Of course, the important thing to note about these spawn positions is there's quite a quick drop rush distance. If you basically come from here, as a Terran player, you can come and drop down into the natural base. But the more important thing is that we should be seeing Sabre come and expand out to the left here, because he doesn't want to be expanding towards his opponent. That's the important thing for him to know. Other than that, in terms of openings, expecting to see something along the lines of a 15 hatch out of Sabre, just a hatch first into a pool, all nice and steady. Meanwhile, Jimmeh is going to be just going for a barracks out first. The important thing we're checking for now is when he takes these Vespian geysers, because the gas timing will indicate whether he's going Reapers or whether he's going for just a 1-rack CC, plain and straight up. I'd expect to see probably a 1-rack CC come down. It's a nice safe opening. Remember, of course, this is all a best of 3 from now on, so usually in a best of 3 situation, you're going to see people play in the sense that they want to make sure things are going relatively safely, and you can just get into the mid and later game relatively carefully. At least most of the time, that's what you're aiming for. Now, in terms of what we could be expecting in the mid and late game, generally from Zerg players up against Terran, you expect to see something like Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk. It's the most common composition. Late game going into some Ultras, but that's a long way down the line. It's really early on that Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk plays out for a long period of time. The reason that's effective is because, of course, you've got the Zerglings and Banelings to deal with the infantry nicely. You've got the Mutalisks that are just fantastic at picking off medevacs, stopping drops, but also they're good at sniping off Widow Mines or tanks if they're only down. But generally speaking, most Terran players sticking to a Marine, Marauder, Medevac and Mine composition up against Zerg. That's the really main thing to note as kind of compositions coming down from Terran players. Now, we do have an Overlord making its way in. Jimmeh is doing his best to try and snipe this down, but the Overlord will be able to get away with only the single Overlord there, will escape. Note, this third hatchery is very early. It was actually a hatch pool opening from Sabre. That is bold. That is a very brave move to be making, but if he's able to pull it off, which by the looks of things he is going to be doing, then he's going to get himself very safe very quickly, and he's going to have an almighty economy that's going to be very tough for Sabre to try and come up against. But Sabre got to be a little bit cautious. Wants to make sure that no bunkers or anything comes down. That's why he's keeping a good bit of vision here with Overlords, just saying, okay, I don't want anything untowards happening. Probably quite happy seeing that the SCV just sitting here. He knows it's there. That's important to know that that's actually coming and sitting still, because you're not getting too much pressure. And actually, for the moment, I do not believe the third has been spotted. No, it hasn't. So Jimmeh is unaware of this. He just knows that, hang on, he should be aware actually that the spawn... Oh no, he didn't even scout the spawning pool? What? He didn't even see it, so he doesn't even know that that's late, but does now come over and goes, hang on, that's an early hatchery. Marines getting pulled immediately. A couple of Lings, though, are already on their way out, though, and that's really going to be beneficial in defending against that. But he's going to need more than 2 Zerglings in order to take down a good number of Marines and an SCV. Even with the Queens coming out, that's so important. And, well, It's going to be a little bit of pressure. There's not too much here. We'll need some more Zerglings. Oh, that Overlord does get caught. A bunker now coming down. Jimmeh playing this so well, just trying to punish this greedy expansion. Note Sabre does get supply block from that. He has another Overlord on its way out, but it's not quite there yet. That's really problematic, because now there's a small supply gap, and the Overlord pops in the third as well. It's going to get instantly taken down. This is so frustrating. The Queen is going to be able to get an inject off first, but that bunker will finish up. Note now a big supply block there. Another Overlord finally coming into production with the bunker now completed. This is going to be a never-ending stream of pressure, or it's seemingly that way, coming down from Jimmeh here. Sabre loses a Queen, and this hatchery is definitely in a lot of problems. While he does have the Rotoran coming down, whether he can save that hatch or not, we'll have to wait and see. But smart play by Jimmeh behind this, taking a third command center. That is just such a smart thing to be doing in this situation, because you know your opponent doesn't have much to counterattack with yet, so you can certainly make sure you play a safe move. But scouting from Sabre will identify that's coming down. We do still have, of course, this hatchery taking a good bit of fire. 6 roaches are in production. Couple getting cancelled here at the third, just to make sure everything's going safe. The Overlord is going to get away, but Jimmeh should be able to secure a kill on this hatchery now and escape out of there, taking minimal damage. If we look at the resources lost, Jimmeh has not lost anything as of yet. He's doing a good amount of damage. Another Overlord gonna go down here, seeing though that there is a tech lab on that starport, so Banshee gonna be following this up, and with Cloak too. The bunker now gets salvaged. The Marines should hightail it out of there, just getting back to safety, but Roach is going to try and chase them down. Unfortunately, these Marines and Hellions should be able to get away. They just need to make sure that this natural base is nicely defended. It sees the Roaches and goes, oh, okay, I need to be very careful. But, of course, with the Banshee coming out, as long as he can hold this wall for the near future, then he is going to be very, very happy, as long as he can get it out in time and not take too much damage from this counter attack. But there is a lot of Roaches out on the field, 12 in total. This is a big commitment. Is there enough to defend it? Well, these Hellions not going to be helping out too much. Marauders are trying to come down. Marines dealing a little bit of damage as quickly as possible. SCVs may need to get pulled to repair this. That supply depot is down. It needs to be lifted pretty damn quick. The bunker trying to get repaired up is going to be able to be repaired up quite substantially. A Widow Mine coming in is going to help too. These Roaches in number starting to dwindle, but the Banshee is now on the field, and that's where things get frustrating. Work count for Sabre down at 36. He's not in the best spot there, but he's got 8 more drones on their way, so it's not all over for him yet. The Banshee just trying to get a little bit of damage done down on these Roaches. Can chase them all day and all night. No Cloak was cancelled. It was coming out initially, but it was then just cancelled down. Cancelled down because he doesn't want to be getting it out now. He knows that it's been scouted, so he's just getting this Banshee out for a little bit of a harassment play. Nothing much else, so gonna just kind of picking away at things if he can, but with a good number of queens down, there shouldn't be any problem here, at least initially, to defend this. But Hellions do sneak through, and this is going to be a problem for Sabre. We can see a nice amount of drones roasting is coming down here, and that is a lot of drones getting killed. This is really not what Sabre needed. He is losing a lot here, and losing this many drones, and bear in mind, 12 workers have already been killed, and there is more probably going to go down here. A big lineup from those drones. They're trying to split as quickly as possible, but more getting taken out. These Hellions more than paying for themselves. Sabre losing mining time as well, and Jimmeh is just going over it. He will lose the final Hellion, but he's got a third orbital command back at home. Everything's looking super good for him. More drones on the way out, though, just trying to get this back out. Note, though, in terms of saturation, the gases are saturated. Full saturation in that mineral field. Over here, one drone short on a gas there, but now getting oversaturated on the minerals. Needs to secure up a third hatch, and that's what we've got coming down here from Sabre at the moment. Jimmeh, he's just powering on. He's getting down his armor. He's getting on a factory. He's going to start the 2-2 upgrades as soon as humanly possible. But for Sabre, he's also... Was that a mana mule? Was that a mana mule, Jimmeh? Was it? Oh, yeah, it was. Of course, the Spire is coming down, so Mutalisks are going to be on their way. Sabre's got a good amount of gas bank, so the transition should be okay for him. But what's the Marine count looking like? Pretty low, actually, so Mutalisk could be the saving grace for Sabre at the moment. This could be precisely what he needs in order to make sure that he can get some counter damage done. We've got Overlord spreading out, just making sure they keep a good eye on anything that could be coming down. The third hatch clearly on its way. A couple of Zerglings are on the way out, but with no Zergling speed yet, and Zergling speed is quite a long way out, they're not going to get that much map presence yet. The Banshee coming in will discover the third hatch coming down. Without doubt, it's going to start chipping away at it. Nice little bit of damage here. Scan does come down too. Just takes a look and says, okay, what have you got in your natural? Doesn't see any tech though. Only sees Zerglings and those Roaches, so nothing that's going to make you too scared there early on. Good Widow Mine placement. Notice a line of Widow Mines. That means any Banelings that come rolling through, they're going to take hit after hit after hit, and that is not going to be too fun. But there isn't actually a Baneling nest down yet for Sabre, so it shouldn't be an issue. Mutalisk, though, coming in en masse. Gonna start annihilating these Banshee out the air, but with a lot of Widow Mines down and missile turrets also on their way through, this may not be all lost. Just 2 missile turrets up at the top of the map, but the third looking a little bit vulnerable. Needs to be very cautious. Where are the Widow Mines? Well, turrets are coming down. We've got the bunker there too, but this is a lot of Mutalisks. There's 13 coming down. They're going to go straight into this. See the bunker. May try and just dodge it a little way. Can definitely start picking off SCVs. They're building stuff, but a push moving forward now for Jimmeh. He knows that he's in a good spot. Economically speaking, Jimmeh is just miles ahead of his opponent after killing 20 drones, so this is all looking good. But Banelings are now morphing in. Note the Banelings do not have speed. Widow Mines are in a nice position. Unburrow them. They will detonate on the roaches if they can avoid it, but in come a lot of Mutalisks. The hit will go down. The rest of the Widow Mines still getting some nice detonations down, but need to make sure they take out the Banelings. The Ward is soak up a bit of the fire, but more Banelings making their way through. All the Widow Mines have now triggered, and just look at the Mutalisk count now for Sabre. He's going to be able to take out this medevac very quickly and very easily, but this is now where we need to see Sabre really do a lot of damage. He's still down at only 47 drones at the moment, about to go up to 50, but 50 drones at the 1430 mark. That's not really where you want it to be as a Zerg player, and that's because, of course, Jimmeh's doing such a brilliant job of dealing a lot of damage. Missile turrets are going to do some nice damage. Managed to pick up a Mutalisk there. That's always going to be a positive trade. But can we see, of course, from Jimmeh, him come in and end this? Because for the moment, there's some great defense coming down from Sabre. He's holding off this pressure, but no, he sees stuff come in, and he GG's out. So that, of course, is going to be game number